What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. So I was going through my running shoe list of the mileage I've put in running shoes, and I completely forgot about this one. This ended up at the bottom of the list. I reached well over 50 miles in this shoe and never did a full review update on it. So I kind of wanted to update you guys on this shoe because it is a video that I did do an initial impression on, and I wanted to kind of come back to it. But before we get into it, if you guys wouldn't mind, please click that subscribe button below. It really helps me out, really helps the channel out. Also, if you wouldn't mind, click that bell for notifications on when new content drops. That way you are first informed when new videos do show up on the channel. So at the end of this video, really would help me out if you guys would give this video a thumbs up and also share it with your running friends if they're interested maybe in this shoe and want to know how it's been working over the long runs for me. So we're going to talk today 50-mile full review of these, the Puma Velocity Nitro 2. So this is a shoe that I picked up early 2022. Was really excited about this because I did love the Velocity Nitro version 1 and wanted to feel what this one was like. Is it an improvement over the first one? And I did do, I think, a comparison video between the Velocity 1 and the Velocity 2. I'll put links on the screen and in the description below for that. But this is a shoe that I kind of wasn't too fond of when I first started running in it. And it took me a while to kind of warm up to it. So have my opinions changed on it? A little bit of change. Stats and features wise, just going to quickly go over it. You've got engineered mesh upper, thin gusseted tongue, padding around the heel collar. Not the most stout heel counter. It does have some flexibility to it, but it's very nicely padded, very comfortable. Underneath, you've got dual foam underneath, dual layer of foam. You got nitrogen-infused EVA sitting on top, and then you've got your regular Pro Foam Light EVA on the bottom. To give you kind of a smooth transition, you still get a lot of compression and energy return, but giving a nice smooth ride underfoot as well. And then underneath, you've got Puma grip rubber underneath, which is very Daily Trainer-esque in its design, very much like a Nike Pegasus, where you've got the guideline and then a very, very, very slight decoupled groove on this shoe. Not very deep, very slight decoupled groove. We'll get into that here in a second. So how has this thing been running for me over that 50-mile period? Well, I have about 63, it says 63.7 miles is what I have in this shoe. And how has it been for me? Well, initially I wasn't a big fan of it. There are some things that I still miss on that first version of the Velocity. Like I do like the internal straps that they had on the inside of the shoe that kind of hugged around your midfoot and created a really solid lockdown. I really do miss that. Because this is very just kind of typical Daily Trainer. It doesn't really wow me as far as its upper is concerned. The shoe does run a little on the long side. I did go true to size. It does have a nice width to it, does have some decent volume to it, but the toe area runs a little long compared to the Velocity Nitro version 1. So that was something that, you know, kind of had to get used to. Also, just me, on my opinion, the vamp, which is the area right here on the outside of your toe, is a little on the narrow side. It stretches out a little bit, but it is something to just kind of be aware of. It takes a little while for the upper to kind of open up a little. But overall, lockdown, standard. Heel collar, lockdown, like the way the heel cup feels and everything's pretty standard. Nothing really to write home about, nothing really that kind of wows me or excited me, kind of like the first one, which felt amazing. This one is just kind of very standard, and it's not a bad thing. Now, going underneath your foot, you've got the dual layer of foam, which is the nitrogen-infused or nitro foam, and then you got your denser EVA underneath. And I do have to say that it's a very smooth ride. It's a very pleasant ride in this shoe. I feel like it has a little bit more bounce, a little bit more energy return than, say, the Nike Pegasus, but it's not quite Nova Blast, so it kind of fits right in between. I feel like this shoe does really well picking up the pace, so if you want to use this for some speed workouts, I really think this is a good shoe. Once you get up on your toes, which again, it doesn't really have much of a, you know, kind of arc here or speed roll or anything. Very standard daily trainer type of design here, which isn't a bad thing. But I feel like when you get up on your toes and you really start compressing that nitro foam, which there's a good amount of it underneath your forefoot here, I really feel like this shoe really comes alive at those kind of faster efforts is where it becomes kind of fun and exciting to run in. That being said, as far as its stability is concerned, I mean, doing the twist test on this thing, which really I don't feel like is an indicative thing of how stable the shoe is, but in this particular case, that's the only thing that I wasn't a big fan of. Its stability just really didn't feel like it was there for me. It felt like I kind of, especially on my right foot, which actually does overpronate, it felt like it was collapsing in just a little bit too much. But otherwise, on my left foot, I felt like it was fine. So that's just kind of my body mechanics, but it really wasn't a shoe that I felt as confident or as stable in as, say, a Pegasus or like the Nova Blast version 2. And even then, that's kind of a bad representation. But yeah, as far as a daily trainer is concerned, or the Saucony Ride, let me do that one, the Saucony Ride 15. It definitely didn't have that inherent stability like you get in the Ride 15 or the Pegasus, but it does have a lot more energy return than I would say either of those two shoes have. So if you're looking to pick up the pace, really good, really fun shoe to run in. Now, the outsole here, I mean, this is, it's Puma grip, and 60 miles on the roads that I run, very little wear on this thing. And I do have to say that that is probably my favorite part about the shoe, and really Puma shoes in general, is the outsole is fantastic. I mean, it is, you got grip in just about any condition out there. They're just fantastic running shoes. The grip, the durability, the traction, everything that you could throw in a running shoe, Puma's got that figured out. And I'm glad that they're using their own proprietary rubber, because whatever they're doing, they've got it figured out, and it's probably the best out there on the market. So, but yeah, so for me, what would I use this for? Classic daily trainer. Like if you're looking for one shoe that can kind of do a little bit of everything, I would definitely say this shoe. Now, the stack height being limited a little bit, I wouldn't use this necessarily for a long run. So if you're going beyond 10 miles, I think you're going to see where the limitations of the shoe really is. At that point, you probably want to move up to the Deviate Nitro 2 or maybe the Magnify Nitro, where you got a little bit more stack height to it. This just doesn't have that good feel after 10 miles. Really, the wheelhouse on this thing for me is about that 4 to 7 mile range, which is typical daily trainer. That's typical wheelhouse for me. But as far as like maybe taking this on a long run, that's where you really want to maybe get a higher stack or a longer running shoe. But as a daily trainer, I could easily use this shoe for faster workouts. I can use this for the daily mileage where I'm just kind of slogging out some mileage. And at the price point, $120 for the shoe, right there in the wheelhouse for a daily trainer shoe. $120, is it worth it? Yes, I think $120, absolutely worth it, 100% for this particular running shoe. When you're talking about some of the best daily trainers on the market, I think this one is commonly overlooked. And even though I did have some issues with it, it's a shoe that kind of grew on me. As much as I maybe felt like the upper wasn't as supportive as the first version, or even the midsole being as stable as the first version, I've really enjoyed the runs that I've done in this shoe. And it's something that I have, in the past, I was really reaching for on some of those odd days. So now with some of the other shoes that I'm running in, like the Winflow 9s and the Pegasus 39 and so on and so forth, I'm kind of reaching for those because I'm trying to get the mileage in those. But now that I pulled these out, I may actually end up running in these again, because these kind of, again, they fell off my list. They also fell into the back of the shoes that I had in a rotation. So, but pulling these out, I'm actually excited to maybe run in these again. But just the little bit that I did do just to get a better feel for what I was going to present to you guys kind of reminded me of, okay, this is the things that I liked and didn't like about this shoe. But yeah, if you own the Velocity Nitro 2, leave a comment in the section below. How are you getting on with these shoes? What are you looking at? How is the wear and tear and all those things looking for you? How many miles have you put in it? How have you enjoyed the Puma Velocity Nitro 2 over the miles that you put in? I'd love to hear from it. And I'd also like for other viewers to be able to read how your interaction with this shoe has been. So if you guys enjoyed this video, again, please give this a thumbs up. Also click the like and subscribe button and the bell for notification. Never pay full price for running shoes. That's the other thing. So real quick, you can use some discount codes from Puma to purchase these shoes at a much lesser price than the $120. That's always a good thing when you never have to pay full price for running shoes. So again, always enjoy your run, never pay full price for running shoes. And I'll talk to you later.